Okay, guys, here it goes. I've had a lot of requests for stucco in a day, the Lath Scratch brown and finish coat. We've been doing more and more of these little repairs like this, and we have it down to a science. And I know how long it's going to take to do it. I know what I need to get it done. That you might want to add 2-3 days if you're doing this yourself. If you're a homeowner, you might want to add a couple of like 3 days. So today we're working on this 3-coat system, this window. We're going to repair this stucco around this little window, and we want to crack back a couple of inches to expose the paper and wire behind the stucco so we can get a nice tie-in with our new paper and our new wire.
You can mouse that window off right there before I work about it. Okay.
I found that anytime you're working above a window, you're doing any demolition, it's best to mask it off first. Those little rocks that come down and they can potentially scratch the window.
I had to leave my bedroom because whiskers kept coming in.
So as you can see, the contractor already has some Tyvek on there. That's to temporarily keep any water that might come during the summer months. Temporarily keep any water out of the building until we get there and waterproof it correctly. So we have 4 inches of overlap on the sides and 2 inches of overlap on the bottom and the top. I like to try to remove any stubborn rocks that were left on from the initial demolition. Clean up that wire as best as I can so it sits nice and flat. It doesn't stick out. Sometimes you can't help it though. Sometimes the wire is so deteriorated that you really have to be careful of moving the wire too much or it'll break off. So you want to keep some wire, as much as existing wire as you can, up to about 2 or 3 inches of wire. Any more than that, it can be excessive, but sometimes we do it. Like on patches like this, I might put 2 layers of wire on, just so I don't have to put on so much mud. But we're not, if you have any overlap, it's okay. But there are certain details that I could go on and on about the wire, on how it's made and why it cracks where it does. Because that edge on the wire is always a smooth edge. It should be a jagged edge on the wire, just like a jagged edge on the building when you're doing the repair. You crack back the stucco to make it a jagged edge, so it doesn't crack. Well, the same thing goes for the wire too. Like on ceilings especially, we have special high rib lath that we put on ceilings, and on the edges it's smooth, so you'll get a crack there, almost guaranteed. Even over acrylics, if you use acrylic finish, you'll still get a crack, and that's the only place where I've seen acrylic crash on some buildings, is right there on the lids, on the soffits, ceilings, where the lath overlaps itself. This wire that we're using today is called Stucco lath. I like using it a lot. It seems like it's really strong wire. I'm just nailing it off every 6 inches with some 5D galvanized nails. I'm hitting in the nails about halfway and then bending them over. Try to stretch the wire a little bit to help it lay flat. I have the wire turned upside down actually so it doesn't flip up on the ends. You might notice that you could see the little furring deals on there. They're sticking out instead of going into the wall. If it was a bigger wall, I would flip it over definitely and use those furring strips. Alright, we've got our caulking done. Caulked anything that looked like it was questionable. And we're getting ready to mix up some mud and start plastering this. And if anybody has been keeping track of time, we've been on this for about 2.5 hours, and that includes a trip to the store and lunch. Okay, JR has prepared some excellent mud for me today. A very special recipe that we have going here with some fast set stucco combined with some regular plastic cement and sand. It's actually pre-mixed cement and sand. And the pre-mixed cement and sand is a wonderful product. So the first thing we're going to do on this coat job here today is we're going to scratch this in. This mud has accelerator in it, so it won't be long with the sun beating down on this wall in 90-degree heat for this material to go off and be ready for its second coat of mud. been 3 hours since we started,
Go 50-50.
and we've got
Make it easy.
2 coats of stucco on, and it's drying up very nicely. And we're able to float it right now, and soon we'll be putting the finish coat on, and it'll be ready for paint in just a couple of days. Most people will tell you 2 weeks, which is about right. I would wait 28 days to be exact. It gives the cement time to cure.
That was it? Okay.
I'm obviously just carving it now to get the shape. And the shape is pretty much two-dimensional. It's flat. Just scraping it with the trowel, and then I'm going to hit it with my neoprene float. The neoprene float will close it in so it's not so rough. This is the neoprene float right here. Won't be long now, it'll be ready for finish. We always add an acrylic additive to our mix when we're doing these kind of repairs.
Put a dash.
You can pick these up at any one of the big box stores. It's just white glue, any kind of white glue. I believe we're using Quickcrete today. Quickcrete. Acrylic bonder. It's a bonding agent. This is an additive. You can also buy the bonder that you roll on the wall. JR has mixed me up a really nice batch of finished mud, and the wall is probably about 75 to 80% dry. It is ready to receive this finish coat here. You won't see any gray showing through because the wall is very dry.
I like it. Yeah.
So it's spreading perfectly. You do not have to put water on this. It still has a little bit of moisture in it. It's still a little damp.
Can you have me a sponge float? I'll float this one here. It's hot, you know. It's gotta be floated right away.
Yeah, it's 92 degrees out there right now.
You got it? Where is it?
Floating in that edge right there, that joint.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about it until you said something.
Floating up into the existing texture. Trying not to make too much of a mountain out of a molehill here. You can do that with your trowel after you're done floating it to create more chatter lines in it. If there's chatter lines in the existing texture, you want to go over it with a trowel after you've used a sponge float so that you can generate some chatter lines to give it the look of the existing texture. We're going to texture over those chatter lines to match this texture on this particular house here. Okay guys, just obviously putting on the finishing texture on this project. Our total elapsed time was 4 hours and 10 minutes for this little guy. So I really hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it, and stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel. We got some really cool jobs coming up. I want to share some extra things with you guys. It's never too old for new news. Okay, you guys take care and catch me on the next one.